What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square with Chasing Cinema.
James Shu, how are you?
.com.
Yes.
7 days later, we're at it again, bro.
And 7 days later, but 14 days away of the biggest movie day of the year, Christmas. My goodness, it is getting crazy busy. Over the next 2 weeks, we literally have about 10 movies coming out. Not one, not three, 10. That's insane. From The Hobbit to Unbroken to The Interview, which is, you know,
American Soldier,
being talked about.
Unbroken.
Well, American Soldier in some places. Unfortunately, we won't be getting it until January. The Imitation Game. Oh, there's so many. It's
Keira
insane.
Knightley. Woo.
But before we get to the holiday cheer, we have a little pit stop here this week with Chris Rock's Top 5 and Exodus: Gods and Kings.
Yes, Christian Bale and Mr. Joel Edgerton.
Edgerton, whatever.
Batman himself is back.
Yes, and looking at a reasonable weight, not too jacked, not too skinny, looking kind of normal, and telling the story of Moses.
You know, this is why Christian Bale left the Batman series, because he wanted to move on, do other things.
Yes.
And this is one of these projects.
This is, I mean, and we all know how incredible of an actor, you know, he is. He's one of my absolute favorites. The man is pretty much can do anything, and we've seen him in. Though, from what I've been seeing of this movie, I'm not sure this is, you know, going to be one of his best performances. Just seeing the trailers and kind of how the movie is appealing a little bit towards the 300 audience. I'm not really sure what this movie is really going to be like. I know it is about 2 hours and around there. I know we do have some great casting though. We have Ben Kingsley, we have Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, we have Sigourney Weaver, and I'm sure there's people that I'm even forgetting that's in this picture. So we have a great cast, including being led by Christian Bale, Moses himself. So from what it looks like, this movie could have potential, but from what I've been seeing from the trailers, it's not too promising. What are you expecting?
Ridley Scott has been letting me down. I didn't really care for Prometheus.
Though I did. I love
Probably
Prometheus.
because I wanted an alien, if you're gonna call it like in the same world universe prequel to part 2.
Yeah.
What was the point of part 1? Just saying. Anyway, like that's the first 30 minutes, dude. You don't have an alien, 30 minutes of it, it's fine, but 2 hours?
That's another discussion.
That is another time of discussion. Move forward very quickly. What I'm saying though is, this movie doesn't look great to me. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's like Noah, and that's not a slam on Noah, I just didn't have interest in it. So it's not catering for, its audience.
Did you eventually see Noah though?
No,
okay.
That's how good it was.
Because, I'm glad you brought that up, because I saw Noah, and I didn't have the most interest in it, but I ended up really enjoying that movie.
That's awesome.
Midway through the year, that was on, you know, one of my favorites midway through the year, though that has unfortunately totally moved all the way up in the list because of how many great movies have been coming out. But, so this movie might be a surprise like that. And speaking on Ridley Scott, I know this movie is one he's dedicating to his brother, Tony, so I know this is going to be a big memoriam as well. So, I mean, this could be a very beautiful picture and a nod to his brother as well.
Well, one part do like is, you know, the Christian Bale, about 3/4 in the trailer, he's doing like a speech to his guys that we're getting riled up. Every time I hear now Christian Bale get all passionate, I always think of when he's on the set of Terminator.
And he's yelling about the like guy. I honestly, you know, that movie.
If you haven't YouTubed the remix of the video, Christian Bale rant remix, awesome.
It's funny because someone just brought that up to me in the recent, you know, tie to the new Genesis trailer for Terminator, and I totally spaced it. I remember that happening. I remember that being like the huge deal. Like that that sold more than, you know, that was more watched than Terminator Salvation. But I honestly forgot that even happened.
It was. No one watched.
But I mean, I totally spaced, and someone brought it up. I was like, oh my god, you're right, that did happen.
Oh, I loved it.
You know, it's kind of sad because I love Christian Bale.
It's because they say he's a serial actor. He's in like serial meaning like what they mean by that is like once he's playing something, he becomes that person. He became the bad. And what was the movie where he weighed like 80 pounds?
The Machinist.
Thank you.
And I mean, he's always fluctuated. American Hustle, he gained weight.
Insane.
You know,
Batman.
You know, in between. And
Dark Knight.
And that's in between. So Machinist, he's small. Batman Begins, he's buff.
Animal.
And he was too buff, and he said cut it down a little bit, had to lose 20 pounds.
Animal.
You know, I mean, so he obviously is an amazing actor. Really cares about his craft. And though some actors would definitely defend Christian Bale, and though and his anger, you know, to the average Joe, he just seems like a bully.
You know what? You know, let me say this though, and I'm being honest. I'm nowhere near any of these people's levels, obviously. But I am a public speaker. You know, and I do that. This is what I do full time, and I will tell you that if you listen to the audio, that is annoying. Yeah. Like, what is that? Okay, they put in. There's Paramount. Who owns Terminator? Whoever it is owns Terminator. They literally wrote a check for not $200. Not $20 million, $200 million to make these pictures work. And so you have this guy saying, okay, you're paying me, I don't know, $10-15 million, and you have this Joker over here with lights. You would see me.
No,
because if you're in it, you're in it.
Exactly. And
if you're that type of actor.
And you know, if you do the research, it was a very critical moment in the film, even though after watching it, it wasn't probably that important. But it was, you know, and you have to respect that these people really do go into a total other world, you know, depending on which actor you talk to. Some people say it's superficial. Like I just listened to an interview with Christoph Waltz. He's like, that's all nonsense, in his beautiful Christoph Waltz voice. But yeah, but I agree with you. I mean, I think to the average Joe he seems like a bully, but I believe there is premise behind him flipping out. He could have maybe done it in a more polite manner, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
He could have went, but at the same time, when you're in the moment, things happen.
And also, in another way to say is, it's not his job to be nice either.
Yes, it's true.
To a crewman, not to dumb down.
He's not their boss.
Yeah, not to.
He's essentially a coworker with this person, if you think about it. So, but you know, coworkers argue.
So I love. But anyway, so we're on this because I loved it. I loved it. We'll be back in 2 hours and.
2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
And we're going to see how this film is and let Moses part the Red Seas.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. So we just got out of Exodus, Gods and Kings. Christian Bale, Joel Edgerton, Ben Kingsley, Sigourney Weaver,
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul.
You seem a lot more excited, so why don't you tell people what you thought?
Well, I will say this. The world of Egypt has never looked better. The cinematography, as Ridley Scott does, was beautiful. It was breathtaking. You will feel like you're in Egypt. It was beautiful. The movie itself, my friend, well, let's just say it fell short for me. It wasn't great. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got.
Such a detailed accounting. Yeah, I have to really agree. I was really disappointed in the movie. It is like a total halt in this incredible reign of movies that are just being awesome after awesome. You know, we've had some mediocre ones, but this was just kind of a halt where I was like, ooh, ouch. You know, I kind of ran into a wall here. Criminal underuse of the actors and the talent that they have, including Aaron Paul, who has done an amazing job in Breaking Bad. We all know the caliber of his performance. He has barely any lines in this movie. Sigourney Weaver, I honestly, off the top of my head, can't remember if she had any lines, if not 2 or 3. Ben Kingsley, Ben Kingsley is usually someone that will seek out side characters that don't have much to do with the plot, or not so much plot, but like screen time. And he did okay, but I mean, you're just underusing performers that should be nailing it. As much as I love Christian Bale, and as much as he tried to take this movie and make it something more than it was, he couldn't. I think the writing was, it all came down to the script where it just wasn't effective. The things they were blurting out just seemed like they were kids in a play, retelling the story of Moses. They were not these characters. They were just acting like these characters and dressing up and playing, having fun. Christian Bale himself could not make it even that much believable. I think the special effects are kind of noteworthy. When the locusts invade the city, when the frogs are coming out of the water, when all the fish are dying. There are some incredible moments to kind of see, but I think the movie mistakes in the fact that it kind of wants to be too much, a little bit like an action graphic novel type thing, opposed to really telling this story as Darren Aronofsky did with Noah. The reason why I enjoyed Noah so much because it really took us on a journey of that character, and even though it was based on a graphic novel, where I think this movie tried to be like a graphic novel and just totally failed and just ended up being really campy. I think this movie made a lot of mistakes and should be the 11th commandment: thou shalt not make another movie about Moses.
What did you think about the world building, the cinematography? What did you think of that?
I think that
it's a beautiful world.
I think recreating everything did look very nice, and that had a lot to do with special effects, obviously. But I was really just distracted on the way the actors were performing, things like that. Ridley Scott has had some incredible performances, but as a director, not as an actor, obviously. But this one was just a real hiccup. It totally feels out of place in this time period, like I said, of just great movies coming out. I think it's a very forgetful movie. I think people will go see it because obviously they love Christian Bale. I think Joel Edgerton was just a complete disappointment. I don't think he was right for this movie. I don't think he was able to match the par of Christian Bale. I'm not trying to knock him, but in his performance in this movie, he did not deliver the stance of Christian Bale. And the movie just was really uninteresting. Those 2 hours felt very, very long. So I was very unenthused about this movie.
Well, you know what the truth is? Louis Vuitton himself will be writing this film.
It's true.
Go to chasingcinema.com/Exodus Gods and Kings.
So he might disagree with me. You'll just have to find out.
Out of 4 stars, we're going to see how many he thinks it deserves.
Yes. If I had the star option, it would probably be about a 1 out of 4.
But you know what? It's not up to you.
That's true.
It's up to Louis.
You know, and that's good because I haven't given a review, I think, under 2 stars in the past 3-4 months, maybe. Unless I'm forgetting something, it's been an incredibly.
And you can prove him wrong by going to chasingcinema.com
yes,
and
please, checking it out and all that stuff.
But also, we always forget to mention this. Check out their podcast too on iTunes.
Yes,
put in Chasing Cinema.
Yes. Or we also have them on YouTube.
Thank you. Yeah, or on YouTube also, of course. And then you can also get if you use the other service. Other people might use the other service.
Oh, Podbean. We also have Podbean as well. And you could hit subscribe on iTunes and it'll come to you with no effort from you each week.
Literally.
On Sunday. Or you subscribe to our YouTube and it comes to you each week delivered. It says, this is what Chasing Cinema is doing. We release about 2 to 3 videos a week. I mean, we're always doing something. We're always talking about
And it's great because if you are on iTunes like I am, it's great. You do nothing. And then, you know, for me, his podcast on average is probably an hour and 10 minutes, something like that. And then for me, I don't know how much you drive, but you know, depending if you take the bus anywhere or the train for all of our European listeners, or subways in New York, whatever.
If you fly a lot,
if you're on there for 20-30 minutes, you'll go through a week because you only have 1 podcast a week. You'll go through it, and maybe it might take you 3 days. But it's 3 days you don't do anything anyways, but instead you're getting nutrition for the brain, in my personal opinion.
We cover everything from movie news. We sometimes do movies of the week. We talk about a lot of things going on in the world.
Rumors.
Especially now going into the new year, we're going to be talking a lot about awards. We have a Chasing Cinema Choice Awards that we do where we have our own categories. We nominate our own things. We'll also do award predictions. We'll be covering the Golden Globes coming up. They just released their nominations this week.
Today?
Today.
Oh, at the time of this recording.
Yeah, it's true. We have some people, you know, upset about snubs and all that stuff. So it's that party. It's my favorite time of year. And as most people say it because they're presents under the tree, I say it because there are movies in the theater.
Love it. All right, so it's gonna be an awesome week because in less than
5 days.
5 days we have
The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five.
I'm gonna have to say it's the 2nd largest movie of the year. I think there was more hype for Hunger Games personally.
Especially being this is the last. Yeah, especially being the last Hobbit. I'm sure it'll be huge. We have a great Hobbit memory. Do you remember the time we reviewed the first film and we were doing our review and the drunk guy stumbled upon our review? No? Well, you could join James in going back to our YouTube channels and watching our older reviews and watch that first Hobbit review. It is absolutely hilarious. James gets so frustrated, and this guy always keeps a smile, but absolutely hilarious. And then right after Tuesday midnight, when The Hobbit releases, Thursday night, we have... I mean, this is when it's going to get crazy.
Game on!
Yeah, it's real. We have the release of, and granted, guys, so if you are in different states or cities, you might have these movies out already, but in Las Vegas, we will be releasing Wild, the film starring Reese Witherspoon.
I'm not watching it.
That was directed by the same person who brought Dallas Buyers Club to us last year, that won some Academy Awards. We have Annie, the remake of the 1980 classic and musical.
I'm watching.
Yes, we have Foxcatcher, finally coming to Las Vegas.
I am watching.
I am so excited.
I am watching.
Steve Carell and
Channing Tatum himself.
And then I want to say we have Night at the Museum.
Not watching.
The last one.
Robin Williams is last.
Second to last. He has another film coming out. I can't remember the name. Absolutely Anything or something along those lines. It's AA. That's all I know is in the title, and I believe it's coming out in February. So this is his second to last film as he reoccurs his role as the President of the United States. Oh, and the interview. Oh, no, interview comes out on Christmas, so that's the following week. So we have, it's
Benedict,
crazy.
Who heard certain people call him one of the greatest actors of our generation.
It possibly could be, yes, one of them.
But the reason why I will be watching that movie, Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley. So after the 19th.
Duchess herself.
After the 19th, we'll go
The Duchess. Did you see Duchess?
Yes, I did see The Duchess. Yeah, I actually worked at Hollywood Video when The Duchess came out.
Just saying, man. Keira Knightley.
So after we have the 19th, we have Christmas Day. Unfortunately, theaters closed down on Christmas Eve around Las Vegas, so there's no midnight premieres.
Weird.
It is weird.
Anyway,
so there's no movies
you're open on
Christmas
every
Eve.
other day.
But don't worry, me and James will be here giving you the review of The Interview, of Unbroken, of Into the Woods, of The Imitation Game. We won't have we won't get The American Sniper till January.
Into the Woods looks good.
Into the Woods.
I like musicals.
And I'm sure there are others that I'm just forgetting. There's so much stuff coming out. There's honestly 10 movies in the next, and it's hard to remember them all.
And don't forget, me and Chasing are getting we've already taken our notes down, and we're getting ready. We're doing it individually, but our top 10 movies of the year.
Yes, we're going to be doing top 10 of the year. We're going to have James on the podcast again real soon to talk about, other favorites of the year and what we think is going to happen in the Academy and all these things. So we have a great 2 weeks to look forward to. I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready for this.
That's what films are all about, and that's why we're here. I'm just saying, dude. All right,
Let's do it.
ChasingCinema.com, the film lovers website.